We are live, and I'm excited because there are so many different things that have happened in the last week that we got to talk about. I have an exciting guest for you guys. If she can figure out how to join as a guest, I'm watching that. But if she does join, I think it's going to be a treat. And I already see people in the chat talking about Sandy Monroe's video about Nicola. I have not watched it yet, but he told me that about it in person before he posted it, so I think we're on the same page there. So let's get going. Of course, I will answer your questions for as long as I can. Super chats and premium members have priority, so let's get going right now. Welcome to E4 Electric. As always, don't forget to click on the subscribe button. But I'm assuming since I don't repost this live streams, most of you are subscribers. Let me know if you're not. But you do have that like button to click also. So let's get going. How many? We have 12 only likes so far, and no dislikes. Really? Usually I have like 2 dislikes before I even start. I'm obviously not doing something right here. But all right, so there are quite a few things that have happened. The Los Angeles Auto Show was going on for over 2 weekends. I know a bunch of you have attended. Let me know in the chat if you have. As a matter of fact, let me bring in the chat. And if so, what your impression is. I liked it. I mean, it wasn't as big as it used to be, but that's normal. One of the few shows that even did something post COVID, and I like that. Jay Ramirez says, Alex with glasses. Actually, you know what? I just forgot. I normally wear these glasses, and I just forgot to switch because these are my computer glasses. But whatever. I'll change it up. And for my videos, I actually wear contact lenses, which I've been thinking about not, but then I've already been doing it for 5 years, so I don't know. So anyway, let me know if you went to the Los Angeles Auto Show. I really liked it. There were because it wasn't as big, there were a bunch of new startups that were there. As a matter of fact, I made a video on Thursday that's kind of gone crazy in the last couple of days about all of the sort of electric car startup companies that otherwise probably wouldn't be there. All right. So I actually do see my guest ready to go. Her name is Margie, by the way, and I'll bring her in a second. Let's see. I'm just trying to make sure. Oh, a lot of you guys are joining that I know. See, this is why this is the best part of my week, because I'm getting to know a lot of you. I even met some of you in person, right? I think it was Patrick and Liv that I met at the Los Angeles Auto Show. In person after the Zivas. Yeah, that's right. So that was pretty cool. Pedro in the comments says, glasses, smart eye, Alex. If glasses would have made me smarter, I would wear them all the time. But unfortunately, not so much. How would you meet Sandy Monroe? Asks Jay-Z. Jay-Z's joined us. That's pretty good. So I remember watching his teardown video, and at that time, people who weren't Tesla fanboys were hard to come by. And I was like, oh, this is someone objective I should make friends with. And I contacted him and I said, would you like to be a guest? And he said, sure. And I'm like, wait, what? He replied to me, okay. So I had him on the show once. And then I realized that maybe I should have this guy regularly because he's consistently evolving and he's great. And so this is way before he was like known or famous and stuff like that, and that's how he became a regular. And then we met for the first time only a few months ago in San Jose in person, because we've done everything over Zoom, because he's in Detroit, and so that was cool. We just had a quick dinner. But during the LA Auto Show media days last week, we really spent a lot of time together and got to know each other. So that was really awesome. Nate Jones, the super chat king, I would say, with another $5 super chat that goes all towards my Chipotle meals. He says, hello, haven't you seen your upload from yesterday yet? Oh, haven't seen your upload. I can't even read today. That's okay. You have plenty of time. Listen. Before we get any further, let me introduce you to a friend of mine. So her name is Marty, and she is a founder and president of Tesla Club SoCal. And as you know, me and Tesla community haven't had the best of friendships, because a lot people who run these clubs. They're like complete hardcore, what I call musketeers, right? But Marty is very different, actually. She is probably the most passionate person about Tesla that I've ever met. Maybe Eli Burton would be another one. Yet she loves what's happening with other electric cars, right? Like somehow people think you have to be like Tesla or everything else, right? She's both. She loves Tesla. You know what? I'm not. I shouldn't even like speak for her. Here, I'm gonna bring her in, and we're gonna have a good time. Marty, welcome
Hi guys.
to the channel, and I probably should turn my volume on.
Thanks for that wonderful introduction, Alex.
You
And I
will
didn't
correct me if
know I didn't know that I have to wear my glasses to look cool
all
because
right.
I'm
All
seeing
right.
that this is the cool thing to do.
I didn't know it was. I really just forgot to put my other ones that you can't see as much. But all right. So let me know. Like, was that the correct assessment of, I guess you?
Absolutely. I mean, I feel as the more electric cars that are on the road, the better. And that's probably one of the reasons why I went to the LA Auto Show. I heard there's going to be a lot of electric cars there, so I went. And I want to share a little something with you. I had two cars that I really had in mind, but that we could talk about that later. But I was going to ask you how was your Thanksgiving, and you just said, yeah, you went to the LA Auto Show. I went it right. I did the LA Auto Show right after Thanksgiving. So was your Thanksgiving
Oh,
good?
yeah, it was great actually. By the way, lower my volume just a little bit because I can hear the feedback. No, my Thanksgiving
Oh,
was good. As a matter of fact, I spent it with my production assistant's family.
oh,
Which
cool.
actually, yeah, I'll tell you why this is great. Because first of all, he sees me at my worst, right? When we're traveling, when we're tired at the airport, when we're rushing to get stuff done. Like this is me at my worst, right? Tired, stressed, and all stuff like that. And yet, I gotta tell you, like, I enjoy having him around. He's a great guy, and I mean, I would, we've created a friendship, and the fact that him and his family invited me to their family's family holiday is a big deal. And and they gave me so many leftovers that I'm still like eating it, which is, I'm assuming, is what everyone's doing. And how was yours, by the way? And tell me more about the LA Auto Show. Like, what days did you go, and what did you like and not like?
I actually went the day after Thanksgiving, and there was two cars that really caught my attention. The first one was the Fisker Ocean. As soon as I walked in, immediately I was drawn into that car because the body style, it kind of reminds me of the Rover Evoque, and the matte blue finish that it had. I thought it was really pretty. And I've already told some people, I'm like, hey, if you like this car, you better get on it because they only have that color for they have it available only for the first 5,000 cars. So, what I really liked about the inside, it was all recycled plastics, even t shirts. The carpet was made out of recycled fishing nets. It has a screen similar to the Model 3, but this one actually rotates from portrait to
Yeah,
landscape, which is kind of cool.
don't you like that?
I thought that was really cool. And one of the things that I've never seen on another car is that it has three windows on each side, and all three windows roll down. The back window even goes down. It reminds me of um, we when I was young, we had not a Volkswagen. It was like station wagon. So it has that sporty look, but at the same time, it has that family feel. So overall, I like the car. It starts at 40,000 to 70,000. It's pretty good. Unfortunately, it's a front wheel drive, so it doesn't have a frunk, but it does have a cool solar roof, similar to the Karma. So that was kind of cool. I mean, it only charges 4 to 5 miles a day, but I think it's kind of a cool feature.
Yeah, no, and people were very skeptical of them, right? And so was I. I mean, I'm rooting for all of them, but with a exception of couple for good reasons. But like now that Magna is going to be making them, I feel much more comfortable that a manufacturer that really knows what they're doing, and a designer who knows what he's doing together. I really do like, and they also have this subscription model, which I really like because you put $3,000 down, right, to have some skin in the game, and then you pay whatever 379 a month. I'm sure it can go up with
Yeah.
features, but you can walk away at any time. I compare it very much with a like it's a Tinder experience, right? You can just get the hell out of there at any time you're not feeling it and return the call. So
Something that I learned that day that I didn't know. I For some reason I thought Fisker Automotive was the same one, but this is actually a new company, Fisker Inc., right? That actually made the Ocean. I was like, oh, okay. I learned something
yeah,
new every day.
so what happened was, right, so Fisker had to go belly up because they one had a fire and got a bunch of their cars burned down, and their battery provider, because back in the day there was just like one, went belly up. So basically they're like, we don't have any more batteries, so they went belly up. But that split into two companies. One is Karma Automotive that are continuing to make the what used to be Fisker Karma, now they're calling it Fisker Rivero, right? And then Fisker himself, Henrik Fisker, kept the logo and started another company called Fisker Inc. And that's what you saw. That's what we're talking about here. Um, it had a rough start because first they came out with the emotion, which I love the design, but that kind of never made it to market. And they also said, well, we're working on this solid state batteries. That didn't go anywhere. As a matter of fact, there's a lawsuit in between them. But Fisker Ocean is something that it looks like is going to actually make it to production, and people are really digging it.
Yeah, I heard it's gonna not gonna come out till 2023, right?
No, it's next year.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. So
Okay.
that I mean, about a year from now, but nevertheless, it's next year. So I like that. All right. So before we go to another one, I gotta acknowledge a super chat. This one is from Jay Z. He just said thank you, Alex, and you're welcome. And that concludes my budget for today's Chipotle. Now acknowledging super chat, and you know how much I like Chipotle, so that works
I
out.
have to give it up to you. I mean, I was looking at the chat right before you started, and we have people from Texas, from Hawaii, from Nevada, from even Greece. I was like, wow, this is really cool that you have people from all over the place joining your chat. This is amazing.
This is the best part of my week. As much as I love what I do, and I don't even repost these, I just do this for fun, right? And this is my favorite part of the week because all these people, joining me all from around the world, and we're talking about stuff that we all love. So this is amazing. I have to pinch myself every time. Here's one of the people who hear every time, Nate, right? So he says, is the company in any way related to the company that makes scissors? Is there a Fisker company that makes scissors? Nate, no, I doubt that they make scissors. If they did, I, I would like to see them, but no, I don't think so. I'm assuming, Nate, we're talking about Fisker, but I guess if in that case, um, the answer is no. But all right, let's move on to anything else that you saw there that piqued your interest
Yeah,
besides.
so the second car that I really liked was the Hyundai Ioniq 5. And that
Really?
car is really cool. From the outside, I like the way the lines, the whole body style. It kind of reminds me of a Cybertruck and a DeLorean having a baby. Even though it doesn't look like a Cybertruck, it doesn't look like a DeLorean, but the whole, when you look at it, it just kind of reminds me of it. And if you look at the lights on the back, they're like pixels. You look in the front, they're also like pixels squared. And then even the turning signals, they have like little pixels. I think it's really cool. This is the first car that I've known that the back seats actually recline, which is cool. And it's a smaller car, but in the back it does fit a stroller, so that's kind of cool for families. But I liked it. I thought it was really cool, and that's something to look forward in the future. Who knows? I might end up getting that car because it's small and it's cute. And I'm
Well,
a big fan of lights, Alex. You don't understand. I'm a big fan of lights. For example, the Rivian, right? I'm a fan of the Rivian, but because of the lights in the front, it kind of looks like a cartoon. So it looks like a toy. It doesn't. It has to have an aggressive look, like the Chevy Lightning, something like that, very aggressive, or even the Cybertruck. But the iconic Ionic, it has an aggressive lights in the front and the back. It looks super cool. So that's what drew me to it. I really like it, and I'm looking forward to seeing it on the road.
Well, okay, so I agree with you on the Rivian because I always describe it as like if a frog, somebody stepped on the frog, right? Like, you know,
I never thought of that. That's true.
uh, that's what I do. I just think here and think of sit here and think of the ways to make fun of all the cars. But and by the way, I am okay. So first of all, we got cleared up
There's,
about this.
there's actually fans of the Ionic. Look at that.
Yes. Before we get that, they're also fans of the Fiskars scissors, but apparently that company started with an A. So we clarified that. So that's an answer for Nate. But you're right. There are tons of people. I am definitely in the minority. I. It's got great features, right? The charging and the range and the fact that it can power up your like campsite and all that stuff. That is amazing, especially for the price. But I just couldn't get with the looks and the door handles. But I am definitely in the minority. Like there's plenty of people here. Here's another one from Ronald. The Ioniq 5 also took me by surprise. However, the Mullen 5 were breathtaking. I agree with him on that. But so I'm definitely in the minority. I listen. I I will support them, of course, because it's a great car, a great alternative for a good price. But that Ioniq 5 looks is not exactly
Oh,
what I.
come on. It has a distinctive light elements. I mean, it's so cool.
Distinctive. Okay, all right, we'll go with that. You call it distinctive. I call it, oh, okay, the looks is the least problems, right? Like that's why the looks are different. Some people like some people hate ID4 looks. I love ID4 looks that we don't have to agree with. As a matter of fact, when I go out with my friends, I never go out with my friends who are going for have the same taste in women, right? Because you don't want to be going for the same girl. Same thing is like that's great. We all have different tastes and looks for when it comes to the cars, so the more the merrier. So I am not, yeah, I'm all good. If people love Ionic 5, I really really hope they do well. um Another super chat from one of the regular viewers, Master Mason 32, says, "Hey Alex, glad I got to see you this week's just got off work. Keep up the great work." I'm assuming this week's video, right? Which is honestly a pretty harsh video. I mean, I did accuse the publicly traded company of media intimidation and bullying. So, well, we'll get to that in a second because I want to.
I gotta
Yeah,
hear that.
we'll address bullying that later in the video. But okay, so Ionic 5. What else?
Well, those are the only two that actually stood out. I was actually really sad because the Tesla didn't really have much love. I mean, it had the three cars, the Model 3, the Y, and the S, but there was nothing really exciting about it. I mean, I have to admit, the Subaru had like the biggest and the most beautiful display, but I mean, they don't have electric cars. At least I didn't see any electric cars, but um, yeah, those are the only two that really stood out for me.
I agree with you on Subaru's display. It's literally one of the best displays I've ever seen. I featured it on my stories on Instagram and my video. But that was their electric car. So that the car that was in the middle of it, that's the Solterra. That is essentially a sister car of the BZ4X from Toyota. They're kind of pushing them to the market together. And you know what? I bet both are gonna sell really, really, really well because the brands and the following that they have. But they're both pretty decent, nothing to write home about. But 250 miles of charge, I think they're all going to be around 40,000. So, but that was it. I'm not surprised that you and I'm sure many people didn't even think that this was an electric because they didn't put any effort into making it look futuristic. As a matter of fact, there could have been a 10-year-old model, right? And you would be like, all right, I guess it's Subaru. But the display was beautiful, right?
Yeah, it was. I mean, even what the background has snow, and then all of a sudden you feel the snow coming, and then it was spring, and it was like the theme was just pretty cool overall.
It was beautiful. And I also noticed that Tesla cars didn't get much love, but they were to the side. I think even Canoe got better positioning that right, that Tesla. But there were no Tesla reps from what I remember,
Yeah,
at least
I
during
didn't see
the
any.
meeting, right? So they were kind of there, and I think people kind of already seen them so much out on about. I almost think that the fact that there weren't that much buzz around Tesla cars is a good thing because people are used to them and they've seen them in person so many times. And it's the other brands that need to catch up because people are walking around, they're like, well, I've never heard of this, I've never heard of that. Oh, Subaru has a electric car, right? So I would say that this is a positive thing for Tesla, that there weren't much sort of Do you remember if that red Model S there was that a plaid one with a yoke?
You know what? I don't know if it was a plaid.
I forgot to
I'm
check
not
because
100%
that would
sure.
actually be an interesting. Like people would probably want to see the first yoke on the
Yeah.
market, right?
But unfortunately, it was all closed in. So nobody can actually even open the car to look inside of the car. So that was, like you said, they didn't really show much love to Tesla, but at least they were present. And that's what it's about, right? To make sure they have a presence there.
Yeah. And you think, well, you know what? Let me just pick up a comment really quick. Ken says, "Hi, Alex. Love your channel. Thank you, Ken. I really appreciate it." Our Volkswagen ID4 Pro S, rear wheel drive, just arrives in Halifax. Now just waiting for it to make it out to Vancouver, by rail. All right, man. I hope you enjoy the car. I mean, I do. I actually have. I'm driving an EQS right now, which I have to admit, just a little bit more exciting. But it's also got some problems with charging, so I got to figure that out a little bit later. But I think you'll enjoy the ID4. Here's another super chat from Nate for another $5. He says, FWIW. Do you know, Marty? Do you know what that means?
I have no, I don't know.
I rented the Ionic Hybrid over the Thanksgiving. I like the ride quality and the look was okay. Reminds me of the Kia Rio 5. Wish it was a plug-in. Well, so Ionic does come,
Cool.
the current Ionic does come in a plug-in hybrid and an all-electric, which is very, very, very limited edition. But yeah, it's it's a great car, the electric version of it. They just not making them, unfortunately, just like they didn't do a good job on Kona, which is a great electric car for the price. They're just not making it for some reason. It looks like it's going to be finally changing. So that's good. And let me get to another super chat once again from Master Mason 32, who's apparently in a race, super chat race with Nate. He said, I got to go. Thanks for the stream. I hope to catch the next one when I have more time. No problem, man. If you have a link, you can come back and rewatch this. We're going to have a good time. All right. So, Marty, anything that you saw there that just wasn't great, like of a concern, for example? Because I have a few.
Um, Not that off the top of my head. I don't remember.
So I'll tell you. Oh, by the way, Pedro just said, "What about Aria?" I can't find his thing, but anyway. Oh yeah, here it is. Did you see the Nissan Aria?
No, I didn't see it.
Oh man.
I
So I
missed
gotta tell you.
it.
First of all, it was supposed to be coming out like right now, and they pushed it back by a year, and I think it's really gonna hurt it. But I gotta tell you, I thought the Aria might sell better than ID4, Mustang Mach-E. It could just
Really?
oh yeah, because it's a $40,000 car. I know they only announced the $46,000 version, but the $40,000 car is coming. And the inside, the quality. I mean, my expectations of Nissan is to be Nissan. The quality on the interior was great. I mean, they got so many great features, 300 miles of range, good price and stuff like that. If they would have come out, now my prediction would be that after Tesla's the sales numbers, Aria would have been number two over the Toyota, over the ID4, and so forth. So that was pretty cool, actually.
So
Um,
Alex, it's for whatever it's worth. For what it's worth. That's what it stands for. Jay Ramirez just say that.
okay, all right. Yeah, I'm not up enough on the little lingo and stuff like for
And I
what.
do agree with him because he said 2022 is going to be interesting for the electric cars. I
Oh
mean,
yeah,
just going to the LA Auto Show, and I felt like there was actually more electric cars than ICE cars. I was blown away on how many, like
really?
you just said earlier, there's a lot of startups, and it's very exciting. All these cars on the road. I mean, it's going to help the planet. I mean, it's just overall, it's just a good thing. So I mean, I think it's a very exciting moment for the electric car.
I agree. Now, I still gotta say that I thought about this as well, but I think the number of electric cars, or just like in terms of area covered, was still about only 10%, honestly. And that brings me to what I didn't like, and I think a lot of people didn't like, and then GM's PR department didn't like that in return. But GM, if you noticed, had the biggest. They had the biggest area. Their display was the biggest, and yet
Yeah,
they had zero electric cars there. And mind you, like borrow a bolt from someone in the area, right? Like you can still bring a bolt,
yeah,
stick it somewhere between your coffee machine and a bathroom, and at least you have some presence. I mean, when I went to SEMA, where nobody expected anybody to bring electric cars, Hummer had, like, GM's Hummer had like humongous display, nothing but Hummers, five or six different electric Hummers, and that was a big presence. LA Auto Show, where's more nothing, and a lot of people, including myself, have criticized them for that because apparently our president says that they're leaders in electric cars, and they're saying how all of these cars are gonna, they're making all these cars, and they brought nothing. I thought that was very hypocritical. So
Yeah,
thing really bothered me and a lot of other people.
I agree with you on that one.
Yeah. Let's yeah, just looking. Okay, so somebody doesn't look Aria. Electric cyclist says not keen on looks of Aria. See, this is why this is why there's so many different cars and looks, right? Like, I think Aria looks amazing outside and out. Electric cyclist, and I also have a friend, I forget who it was, who absolutely does not like the way Aria looks. But I really like it, but that only means that we now have enough different variations and designs of electric cars for everybody to like and hate them, right? So I'm okay with that. Um, now, what did you think of all of the newbies, right? Remember there was an Indy EV there, the orange one, and like in that almost the lobby of, I think, the South Mall. There was the Imperium with the SUV and the pickup truck, and there was also the Mullen 5. It, I think it's one of the best looking cars that was unveiled. What are your thoughts about all the newbies? The little startups. Like, are they too late to the game?
No, not at all. I mean, I'm glad that they're starting now. I mean, I feel like they're late in the game, but I'm glad that Tesla was able to open the doors and lay the platform for everybody. At the end of the day, yes, my heart is with Tesla, and I give a lot credit to Elon and his team. But I mean, the fact that now all these electric cars are coming out, it's just this is awesome, and there's a car for everybody because a lot of people don't like the Teslas. I even saw in the chat one of them wasn't a fan of the front grill or the bumper. I mean, it just, yes, I agree. The Tesla might be a little bit simple. It's not aggressive. It's not really sporty. It just looks like a nice car. The only thing that I liked about the Model X is the wings, the Falcon wings. So it's not as like this. Yeah, I guess it's sexy, but not as sexy as some other cars. I have to admit, there's other cars out there that are a lot more aggressive, and like the Taycan. It's like when you see it, you're like, whoa, you're like, oh, and you were there at the Holly Electric. What is it? The Holly. What was it called?
High voltage
High
experience.
voltage, yes, of course. How can I forget the high voltage? And the Taycan was on the track, and I was like, okay, it's just to me that's a nice body style. I mean, you have to admit, but
So I'm gonna disagree with you a little bit, but before that, there's a comment here and there, right? Actually, because of the echoes and stuff like that, I'm gonna put on my earpiece, and because I think people are hearing our feedback. So hold on a second.
oh,
Boom. Yeah, so I'm gonna do this. So at least on my end, and if you have earbuds somewhere nearby, use them. It's not that it's fine. We'll do it next time. But um, let me. Okay, so as far as the looks and Tesla and Taycan, so I personally think that Tesla Model S is one of the best looking cars ever made. I love the design from the day one, and even after the refresh of the front, I love it. Until this day, I don't even blame them that they haven't updated the design because it lasted through the last almost decade, and it's just as I think it's just as sexy. I don't know if I would call it aggressive, but I don't really necessarily want an aggressive look. I like it is sporty, it's sexy, but it's also looks luxury, right? Even though people would argue, including myself, that it is not. But nevertheless, I love the way Model S looks, and the 3 and Y. I think they're one of the best looking cars in their class. And the X, I'm not a big SUV fan, and definitely not a big van fan. It's definitely the best looking van on the market if you classify it as such.
this is
Um,
so interesting. I'm surprised you're saying this. You're not the biggest Tesla fan,
I,
but
I got the Tesla in 2012 when everybody thought that was a ridiculously stupid idea, and one of the reasons was that
you're
I thought it
OG.
looked gorgeous. Huh?
You're OG. I
Yes, yeah.
you're one
People
of the
don't
first
realize
ones.
it, but
Yeah.
like I'm looking, I still kept the visor from that car because Elon signed it. So like, no, I love, and until this day, I think it's one of the best looking cars. And the Porsche Taycan, honestly, it's I'm not that big of a fan. Maybe because I've also seen, and we all have seen their Mission original concept. It's kind of like, well, I know you're married, but like I'm on dating apps, right? So I'm swiping it right and forth. Sometimes you'll see like a cute girl, but she would be like next to her much cuter friend, and I'm like, I was gonna swipe right on you, but now that you're kind of like saying, but wait a second, there's somebody much better looking in my life,
Yeah.
now I feel a little silly. So like now that I've seen the Mission E concept, that was absolutely gorgeous, right? Same with the EQS, the Mercedes EQS. And then when they came up with what they came up with, I don't know. I thought it was okay. I definitely don't think the Taycan is better looking than Model S. But again, this is all looks, so it's all objective, right?
Yeah. I mean, I'm seeing aggressive as in like the Roadster. Now, that to me is like the ideal for me look on the body style. The Model S, I agree with you 100%. I think out of all three of them, I think the S is probably the nicest looking one. But I'm saying like if I had to choose, I mean, I like the body style of the Porsche.
All right, see that, and no argument there because it's all taste, right? Nate says, I'm hearing some occasional noises that kind of reminds me of the old AM radio static. Well, actually, do you have some construction going on? Because I don't think it's my feedback of my voice. I think you guys have something going on there.
No, it's completely quiet over here.
Oh, really? Okay, well, so maybe that is my feedback, but it's occasional. I wouldn't worry about it. But all right. So, oh look, so there's somebody else disagreeing with 144 Dawn says disagree about 3 and Y looks. They look funny. See, like I think they look good, and somebody looks, but that's why
So
there are
if you
other
get a
choices.
white Model Y, it looks like an egg.
Really? I think it looks nice and clean, and
I
I
think
mean,
I love Tesla. I love them, but I'm being real. Like if you give me a white Model Y, I'm gonna look at an Easter egg. You know what I mean? But that's why I
yeah.
stick with the Model S and my Model 3. I like those two cars, so I kept those.
Yeah. All right. Also, Jay Ramirez says, "What if Apple steps up the game with an EV as far as customer service versus Tesla?" Well, okay. First of all, I'm looking forward to Apple's car because it looks like the report from Bloomberg just came out, and it looks like they're not even going to bother with steering wheels and pedals. Like they are targeting 2025, but they're just going to go for a fully autonomous vehicle. I mean, on the other hand, we've heard so many things about Apple. They're doing it, they're not doing it, they're doing it again. So and a funny thing is, the guy in charge of that, development of the car was in charge of development of the Apple Watch. So I'm not really sure if I was the best guy to lead. But listen, the reason I stopped buying Teslas wasn't the Teslas, wasn't the cars. I mean, my viewers know it's because of their crappy customer service. So the comment that Jay Ramirez has here, I don't think that anybody needs to try that hard, to beat Tesla in that category. As a matter of fact, that's why I kind of think there is something to the dealerships because they have to provide better customer service and have service centers in a lot of locations. So, as much as we don't like the buying experience of the dealerships, the service experience is actually exactly what I want. So, I don't really know why it's even a challenge to beat Tesla in that category. There are other categories that's much tougher to beat Tesla. I mean, would you? How's your customer service been? And also, does your customer service center know that you're essentially an influencer and a community leader in a Tesla community?
You know, this is a very hard question because I'm biased. Like I love Tesla and I'm obviously a big fan, but one of the things that they do have to improve is their customer service. If you want to get a hold of someone, it's everything's automated. Like just a question about a car, it's a voicemail when you call the stores. It's really hard to get a hold of someone just to ask a question. You actually have to go to the store, and in person to ask your questions. So unfortunately, I'm not really happy about the customer service and even the deliveries. I've heard a lot of complaints about, they get their cars delivered. They don't really explain the car, yeah, it's unfortunate, I mean, I'm just happy the car is amazing and I've never had any issues with the car. But I think the customer service needs a little bit TLC.
Yeah, here's a comment from Chris. Says dealerships charge too much for service. Local shop is only one third of the price. I mean, see, that's the thing. That's another thing that Tesla probably could help themselves if they open it up to independent shop owners and maybe even outsource their customer service, because those people will charge less and provide better service. And I think everybody's going to win: the small business owners, Tesla, and the Tesla customers. So I don't think it's going to happen, but it's not a bad idea, Chris.
um, Throwback was saying that this person was actually able to speak with someone, and that's awesome. And I guess it just also depends if what state you're in, what city you're in. And LA County and Orange County. I'm from SoCal, so I'm just speaking from Orange County, LA County, and a lot of my members have told me their experiences that they can't get a hold of anyone, and they have to go through their app, and then their app's not working. They don't get a response on their app, so there's just all kinds of technical difficulties. And I'm just kind of like, they dump on me and they tell me their complaints, they tell me their feedback, and I'm just like, okay, I can't do anything about it, but it's not just me. I'm hearing it from different people and telling me the same thing. So, I just have to agree that unfortunately the customer service is there's a little lack of customer service on
And Jeremy said interesting. He says Apple does sell direct, like Macs, iPhones, etc., through its Apple stores, but you can still buy through other stores, AT&T, Best Buy. So that's actually, if Tesla would maybe sort of model themselves after this way of doing business, I think they would win, and the customers would as well. But all right, I think we're on the same page there. Here's an interesting question for you. I'll throw it to you first from Pedro Sanchez. He says, "Any takes on BMW iX? Have you had a chance to check it out, or like have you?"
that.
It's
No.
it's actually a full-sized SUV. It looks like a regular BMW. It's got 300 miles of range. It starts at $80,000. So, like
Oh
Pedro,
wow.
yeah, it's a little too much, and I think goes into six digits for that kind of car. I don't see BMW, and the i4 deliveries also started, the four-door sedan, but I just don't see a peep from BMW. I don't see commercials. I don't see the ads online. I don't see them reaching out to us, the media, much. So they're kind of doing it, but they're almost like not very proud of their own electric cars, and they have two now, and they don't look like the egg, like the i3.
Model Y.
So all right. Let's see. Oh yeah. So of course, Jay Ramirez reminds me that it does have the monkey butt front, which again is my biggest problem. People ask me why I
I
say that.
wonder, why do they do that? I mean, it looks so nice before, now it's just like this huge
I
grill
don't
that just.
know. I don't know what kind of focus groups they have, and if they have any at all. But it comes from, I guess, like if you watch just like Discovery Channel, they have what is it,
Yeah,
baboons, right?
bamboos.
But they're type of monkeys, so that their butts are like exactly like that, and it's like that's all I see when I look at the new BMWs with that. And I speaking of the aggressive looks, right? BMW was the king of
Oh
aggressive,
yeah,
and now,
hands down.
yeah. Well, it is what it is. All right, so let's talk about the Rivian video that I just put out, and I kind of wanted to take to get your take on this as well. So, uh, just in case if you haven't watched it, guys, so I'll summarize it to you. First of all, a lot of things are going poorly for Rivian. All of a sudden, they were kind of a sweetheart of electric vehicles for a while. Even Tesla, biggest Tesla fans, and including Tesla Radi, have always had positive coverage. I've always had positive coverage, but things are not well in the kingdom of Rivian lately. I mean, they've lost Ford's partnership in terms of they were supposed to make a car together, right? We find out that their deal with Amazon is very one sided, and Amazon can actually walk away from it at any time or downgrade it and so forth. We realize the customer deliveries are not really customer deliveries; they're only their employees, and the regular customers won't get it until at least March. So essentially, to me, it's you got a bunch of glorified, you know, QA, quality assurance engineers that are that are testing the cars, but the regular customers that can come to the media or post something on social media is not happening until March. They had a fire on their factory, and it looks like a battery pack was one of the things that caught on fire. All of this bad stuff, and then we realized that they're snubbing journalists and YouTubers from their drive events. And forget about me. I'm okay with being snubbed, but like the biggest truck channel, which is the Fastlane Truck channel, got snubbed for no reason. And there is a notion out there that Rivian doesn't want to give these trucks to people who can be critical of them, right? They've only giving it to the YouTubers and journalists that are normally very positive, no matter what they review. And on top of that, I witnessed something firsthand at the high voltage event, actually, Marty. I don't know if you were around, but so Rich Rebuilds was there with his co-host Steven, and the Rivian event was right next door, and
Yeah.
so they went to ride the truck there, and they tried to go off road a little bit because it's a off road truck, and the representative said, no, 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 don't go off road. They're like, really, not even a little? They're like, not even a little. Then they were also told not to drive over 30 miles an hour, which is again not much of an adventure if you're an adventure vehicle. So finally, and this is what I gather from them, they decided that they're going to just pull over, give the truck back to Rivian, and walk back to the event that me and you were attending, right? Which exactly what I would do. And then they did. But then here's what happened. This is what I saw with my own eyes. Two Rivian reps walked up to where we were, which is not even the same event, with two security guards right behind them, and basically demanded or asked that Rich shows them the footage because apparently they did something wrong, they went off track and stuff like that. And
Wow.
yeah, so that there's no reason to bring security, by the way, right? If
No.
you want to talk, you just talk, right? You obviously have their number. It's not that difficult. So that was already in the intimidation technique I don't appreciate. Also, you can't just ask a journalist or a media member to see their footage. I'm sorry, they've captured the footage that you allowed, and now you'll see it when everybody else does.
Right.
Rich was nice enough to do that. And once they saw the footage, which I also reviewed, and saw that they did nothing wrong, they left. But not only this is media intimidation and bullying, it's also once again makes me ask a question: what is it they don't want Rich and Roman and Andre from the Fast Lane and other people who actually do criticize brands if they don't feel like they're up to par? What is it that they got to hide? Like seriously, what is it? I'd like to know. It's just like
Are they not confident enough about the car, about the truck?
you tell me. I don't know. All I see is what happened, and I've never seen this happen except for when Tesla was doing the same thing with the media, intimidating them and stuff like that. But you know, I think it's way, way beyond acceptable. And I reached out to Rivian. I said, guys, here's what happened. Here's what I witnessed. Can you please give me a comment? No comment.
Wow.
They didn't say no comment. They just didn't give me one. And no comment is usually same thing as no contest in court, right?
Yeah.
You guilty, but you don't want to talk about it, right? So, what do you think about that? I mean, you
It's
live,
very strange.
right?
It is. I mean, someone that's confident of their car, they're gonna like, yeah, go for it. Do what you need to do. I mean, if anything, we love you guys to do marketing for our car, especially, those YouTubers and influencers.
Yeah.
This is a great opportunity for them to show off their car, and especially all the hype that Cybertruck is getting. This is an opportunity for them to show off the car and what it's capable of and all that stuff. And the fact that they didn't want to do that, that makes me wonder.
And here's the thing. Listen, we all understand that this is their first crack at making electric cars. They're a brand new company, things will go wrong. Like I feel like we all understand. But as a community, I feel like we would be more on their side if they would be like, "Hey guys, sorry, we're still ramping things up." Like when Elon came out and said, "Listen, we're in production hell, and these cars are not going to be the best. If you want a great quality Model 3, you're going to have to wait it for a year." They were pretty honest about it, and I
Right.
like that.
Very
Here,
transparent.
yeah, and Rivian has positioned themselves as as trucks that are created for the overlanding community, the adventure vehicles. They
Yeah.
made it very customer centric, and all of a sudden they're trying to hide something. I just don't like. I took honestly, it's so hard. It's I almost feel like I caught my girlfriend cheating. It's just like what I mean.
Yeah,
I
it's unfortunate. I mean, I'm a big fan of the truck. I mean, I remember seeing the Rivian a couple years ago before COVID at the LA Auto Show. and I was blown away of all the cool features that it has, and it's the bed is huge. It's like everything about it. And then all of a sudden, this happened. It's like, wait, that doesn't sound right.
It,
So
it doesn't sound
it's really sad to hear that.
right. By the way, Jerry Ramirez says, flashback to KGB days. A little bit. Not gonna lie. By the way, you've been getting a lot of comments on your hair, and I second that. I mean,
Thank you, Jeff.
yeah, Jeff says, "Mark, you love your hair. Your hair looks great. I'm jealous. I got hair transplants and everything, and I style it every day, and I still can't make it look awesome. So I
Thank
appreciate
you.
that. I always notice fashion things. I'm into fashion, and I appreciate when people put the efforts into how they represent themselves. Right?
Well, thank you. I
So
actually wanted to make a comment. Brian Fenwick, he wanted you to talk about the GM, but before you do that, I'm glad you brought up the Hummer, is because I was really surprised. I didn't see it at the LA Auto Show. Did you?
well, that's what I'm talking about. The GM Hummer is made by GM, and GM.
Okay.
Yeah, it
Sorry
wasn't
about that.
just
I
Chevy I
missed
was
that
talking
part.
about. I was talking about the entire GM. So they could have brought the Bolt, they could have brought the Lyric from Cadillac, they could have brought the Hummer, since they already have a display, by the way, right? Since we know they
Yeah.
have a display at SEMA, they could have bought the Celestiq, which is still a prototype, but still a concept car. And when they invited us a couple of years ago, they had 20 different mock-ups of different GM cars on stage. They could have brought any of them out, and yet not only they didn't have electric cars. I don't know if you noticed, they also had an actual ice, like the actual engines, gas engines on display. Like, look what we got, gas powered engines, you know. And I was like, what are you doing? Like, this is not going to get you a good publicity. And I reached out. So I have like four people who I usually talk to at GM, right? I reached out to all of them. I said, guys, I just want to get a comment on this because, what's up? None of them replied. Not a
Oh,
single
really?
one of them replied. Yeah, and I'm like, okay, so you want another bad story? Like, here's the thing: PR people are the people that are hired by the brand to not just invite influencers and journalists to speak positively about the brand. PR is about, when there's something negative going on, try to sort of balance that out with their point of view. So when a journalist comes up and says, listen, I'm working on the story, whether it's my Rivian story or GM, would you like to make a comment to balance out this pile of crap that I'm just about to throw at my audience? And they go like, "Nah, we're good." I don't get what is it that they do there at their PR departments, you know?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Okay,
I've seen a lot of comments about Nicola.
yeah. So
Um,
I was just about to get to that.
yeah.
Okay, so here's what's happening. Okay, Scott, what about Moreau going to Nicola? Okay, so Sandy Monroe, I have to admit, I did not. I've been so swamped with so many things. I have not watched the video that Sandy released, but when I was hanging out with Sandy a week ago, he kind of told me what they just did. So I'm assuming most of it made it into the video. But he went to Nicola to check it out and found out that they actually got something really cool going on, right? All this negative publicity, made everybody believe they have vaporware. But apparently they don't have vaporware. Apparently he was actually quite impressed with what Nicholas got, right? So that's the story. And I'm actually interested to see what you guys in the chat think, because we were all fooled, right? And lied to. So I'm kind of curious if this is going to turn some minds around. I do have to say that their PR department also sucks. I mean, I remember one time they were going after influencers who negatively commented on, did negative stories on Nicola. I wonder why. And they started submitting copyright strikes, which actually we are protected against. But they didn't care. They reverted all of them. And I reached out to them. I said, guys, before I do another story about you and use your B-roll, can you promise me you're not going to do the same BS to me and then everybody else? Can you commit to not acting like douchebags? Um, and I asked them 3 times. They don't want to commit to that. So
Oh,
their
wow.
PR department also probably needs a bit of a, you know, PR jail, if you will.
PR jail.
Well, that's where their CEO is at. So Oh, by the way, before we get to well, so I don't know what else to say about Nikola, just because that's an interesting story. But they have a lot to prove, right? Let them invite us, the journalists, and also poke around, because Sandy is great at understanding what the technology is and how viable it is. But I'd also would like to come over and check out if other things are in place, not just the good technology. No,
It's very
so
interesting how there was a Nikola and there's a Tesla, and I don't know if you noticed, there's a truck at the LA Auto Show that's called Edison.
Edison Future. I know. That's what I said. We gotta stop naming car
I'm
companies.
like, what is going on?
I know. So that truck, that Edison Future truck, I think that's the truck that Tesla community wanted Tesla to come up with. As much as everybody made peace with a Cybertruck and all of that stuff, I think that's what people expected from Tesla to come up with, right? Have you
Yeah, it's a
seen
nice
that?
looking truck.
It's a beautiful truck, and I don't even like trucks, so
Yeah, it's very
yeah,
spacious. It has 3 seats in the front, and it had some huge tires. I'm like, what size are these tires? They were
yeah.
ginormous.
They look
But I
great.
like that cool, like the window display. What is it called? The front display? I forget what it's called, but it's like see through.
Oh, the head of the
The head up display. Yes,
yeah.
there you go. The head up display, which is kind of cool. But overall, I mean, the looks of that truck is pretty hot.
Yeah, and I'm a
I
huge
like trucks. So, when I saw that, I was like, what is going on here? Okay, let me take a look. And then when I saw it's called the Edison or Edison, what was it called? You said Edison what?
Edison Future, like Faraday Future, only Edison Future.
Okay.
Yeah,
So I'm like,
they could
okay,
get
this is gonna be
creative with
interesting.
either part of their name. Yeah, but by the way, I'm right now in the EQS I've been driving. I just like they have augmented reality head-up display, and I think I'm in love. It's basically how like head-up display will have like a speed and other things over there, like it's almost like projected on your reality. Well, they also have the navigation guides. So, for example, let's say you're coming up on the intersection, it will actually take this little arrow that you have and move it all the way to where you actually need to make a turn. So it almost draws it on the road, like during
Really?
a football game. Yeah, like football games, they have the lines being drawn and logos of sponsors and stuff like that. So they essentially draw in front of your eyes the arrows on the and as you approach, the arrows become bigger, like they're actually sticking to the road, and you know exactly where to turn. When you get to the destination, they actually have a little flag planted. It's oh wow, I was like, my mind was blown. So
Oh, cool.
yeah, you just mentioned head up display, I wanted to mention that. But one company we actually missed talking about from LA Auto Show, but I think they actually might made going to be a bigger story than even Fisker, which is the VinFast, and Jay Ramirez pointed that out. So this is the Vietnamese company that not only been making cars in Vietnam, I think they've already made tens of thousands of there. They're backed by this humongous company that like owns everything from
Yeah.
universities to hospitals to stuff like that. Though they did start as an instant noodle company. I don't
No
know if
way.
yeah. They started with instant noodles. It took off. They're a multi-billion-dollar corporation. So they have the money. They have the factory. They've been making cars. Now they brought those two E35 and the E36 to LA Auto Show. Did you have a chance to check it out?
I did see them, but I don't know. Like, I didn't really see anything that stood out. It just looked like
Yeah, they're very regular
very
cars.
simple.
Yeah, they are designed and styled by Pininfarina inside, but I don't think people were allowed to be
Yeah,
inside.
they weren't
Um,
allowed.
Listen, they are very regular looking cars, but I'm assuming they're going to be priced differently, and a
Yeah.
lower side. So I think that's great. Having another company come into the United States and create competition to lazy asses like Toyota and GM, I think is a good idea. Their US CEO is a woman, which normally I don't make comments about, but I actually think it's good because I feel like women care about things that actually should matter to them and their families, like safety, right?
Yeah.
Most guys will like 0 to 60. What is it? How much noise does it make?
Yeah.
Women talk about comfort and safety and how practical the car is. So I think it's refreshing, actually. And she's a very, very humble CEO, which I definitely appreciate. Because I met some CEOs of these new companies, they have nothing and they already, act like they rule the world. um, like Alpha Motors guys, like they have nothing but 3D renderings and they act like they own the world. So I really enjoyed meeting her, and I think this company might make some splash in the future, just having affordable electric cars that don't look like crap.
Yeah. One of the things that stood out when I was speaking to one of the representatives there, that, they're based out of Vietnam, but she told me, she said, we have 12,000 robots in our factory. I was like, whoa, that's a lot. I mean, I don't know how many robots Tesla has, but when she said 12,000, that to me, that's a lot.
People don't realize how high of a quality of factories they built in Asia, and especially in China, for example, but also Vietnam, where this company spared no expense on having technology. This is all German engineering that they bring in there, all the robots, and it's state of the art. I mean, Tesla, the quality of Teslas that are coming out of Shanghai factory is five, and this is Sandy Munro kind of said that also, is like five times better than what's coming out of California down the street here in Fremont. Day and night, because that technology is top of the line. Where in Fremont here, they can't even paint cars well, as we found out over the last few years. So make no mistake about it, those cars, they might be made in China or Vietnam or whatever, but they are high quality.
Nice.
Yeah,
That's exciting.
it is exciting. Brian is commenting on my shirt, which, by the way, is one of my best shirts. I think.
You
You know,
haven't worn that shirt. I've never seen you wear that shirt, actually. I always see you with your
really,
button down, all professional. And today you're just chilling, looking cool with your
well,
swag.
I mean, I kind of, I have to admit, I kind of stole it a little bit from. There was this. I don't know if the channel is still E Network or whatever. So they had this thing called Talk Soup, where they basically featured the talk show, silliest moments or whatever, and they had a segment where they featured a show from their own channel, like Kardashians or whatever, and it was called, it was basically, in the graphic it says, "Let's take some E," right? Uh, just in case if people know E is for ecstasy. But I
Yeah.
thought, E is for electric, and by the way, a lot of people don't realize. Do you see? It's not just an E. Do you see a battery in my logo? I spent
Oh, that's right.
I
Okay. Yeah, I
spent
do
days
see it.
designing it, and people go like, "Oh, it's a weird logo." I'm like, "Yeah, but there's a battery in there. See the battery?"
Yeah.
Let me know in the comment section, guys, in the chat, if you don't see a battery in
The
my
blue
logo,
outline is the battery.
right?
That's
So
pretty cool.
anyway, I thought it was funny, but all right. Jay Remish says, "Nice shirt." Yeah,
One
and
of the
they're
things too, I don't know. Did you see? I'm looking at Pedro Sanchez. He says E for electric 450 and 580 or AMG. I know this is off topic, but when you said AMG, I just realized I didn't see Mercedes. Did you see Mercedes there at all?
No, so Mercedes, BMW, Audi, they did not participate at all. As a matter of fact,
Yeah.
there's a lot of big manufacturers missing. Unfortunately, that's just how it is. Some of them are struggling for budget, especially at the end of the really bad year for them, and end of pandemic or whatever stage we're at of the pandemic, and so they just didn't show up. It's unfortunate. Now that is, they're asking me if it's a 450 plus 580 or AMG, the car that I have in my garage. So it's 580. It's 580, but it's a cheap version, Pedro. It's like only $120,000 version. So I didn't get self-closing doors. I didn't get they call it the power nap mode, where you say, "Hey Mercedes, I'm sleepy," and it reclines your chair. It turns the music on. Or, this humongous mega dashboard screen, shows the stars. And they also have a perfume, like a cologne, that sprays into the cabin. And a massager is amazing in that car, way better than my ID4. And you're in little heaven. So I don't have that, and I don't have the screens in the back and stuff like that. So yeah, but I do have a few other features that I thought. I mean, driving this car is one of the best experiences I've ever had with driving a car. But setting things up, like I still haven't figured out how I can switch to Celsius, which I can do with the thermostat at the Motel 8, easily. So, but not in this car. By the way, there's noise coming out. Is that? Can you mute yourself? Okay, I'm gonna actually mute you and see if it's coming from you or me. Yeah, it's coming from your side, Marty. It's coming from your side. Can you maybe lower the speaker, just the volume, just a little bit?
Let me know if that
Can you
works.
can you still hear me?
I can, yeah, I can still hear you a little bit.
Okay, I think it just got a little bit better, but
Okay.
I'm just hearing some like noise, almost like there's a construction going on. But
Does it sound a little
anyway,
better though?
yeah, right now it just sounded a little bit. It went away.
Can I say
Um,
something really quick,
yeah,
Alex?
yeah,
I have to admit, I mean, everybody that has so much love for you, complimenting your shirt. People have already noticed your battery on your shirt, like they noticed it a while ago. And it's amazing how everybody has great feedback, good comments. Like I'm listening to you. Don't get me wrong, but I'm just looking at the comments. I'm like, this is like an interesting topics. Like I want to talk about every single topic. It's so cool. I'm so glad you invited me. I mean, this is awesome. And again, I mean, just
well,
for the viewers, like it's just you guys are awesome. You know, the energy's great and all these good questions and feedback.
I, I'm not sure if I invited you. I'm more pressured, the pressured you into this. I know because I know you don't like being on camera,
No,
but
I
I
don't.
thought I thought you're one of the best community leaders that I've seen over the last several years. I got to know you and your husband and your community. The way you run it is like, I unfortunately, I rarely see it, right? Usually the people who run Tesla clubs, they're like, we love Tesla, we love Elon Musk, they're perfect, and everybody else can die, right? So you are one of those people who are electric car fan first and Tesla fan second, and you're a huge Tesla fan. So, and the events that I've attended with you or your events have been one of the highest quality events. As a matter of fact, you have one coming up on Saturday, right?
Yes, we actually have one on Saturday at the Cerritos College football stadium. It's from 10 to 12. It's December 4th. And we have all kinds of cool stuff. We have $1,400 worth in gift cards to give away. It's all free. We do a free raffle. We're going to have a mobile arcade for the kids. Up to 15 or 18 people can fit in this mobile arcade. Um, we're going to have coffee. We're going to have games. The best ugly sweater, the most holiday spirited, best frunk. You know, it's going to be all kinds of cool stuff going on. And we're also giving away an electric bike. So all you have to
You
do
guys
is
are not.
bring an unwrapped toy that's worth about $10, and we'll give you a raffle ticket and, all kinds of cool stuff going on that day. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. Hopefully you guys can make it. And it's
You
open to
guys.
everybody. You don't have to own a Tesla to attend.
You guys
Oh,
are
and
not
then one
doing.
more thing we just got yesterday. If you have a furry friend, make sure you bring your pet because the first 30 dogs that come in, or cats, or any furry friend that you have, they get a stuffed animal
Wow.
from Petco. So
I don't
I
want to know what they're going to be doing with that stuffed animal, but it's a nice gesture. I,
didn't know you were going to say something like that. Only Alex would say something like that.
listen, you set me up for that. I thought it would be a leash or like maybe a little treat or whatever. You're going to. I know
That's
what
their
pets do.
companion.
Well, they do with what they do to stuffed animals is what Rivian PR department does to the independent journalists, right? So I guess that we can draw parallels there. But okay. Oh, by the way, I, as far as my audience is concerned, the reason I love these, right? Because there's a lot of nasty comments that I get from either from the comment section of my videos or other YouTubers and stuff like that. Warren comes to mind, right? These people who hang out with me every week, these are the people where I'm on the same page with, right? I feel like their love for electric cars is like we're on the same page. They watch my videos, but they also watch other people's videos, so they know Sandy Monroe. They like, and I've learned a lot about like I'll have a subscriber hangout, and I walk away learning something. These
Yeah,
people are very educated on what we're talking about, and I have stuff to learn from them. This is why I love this. I love to be the dumbest guy in the room, right? Because if you're the dumbest guy in the room, you walk away just a little bit smarter. And my audience makes me smarter. And these are the best representatives of my audience. That's why I love this. By the way, see, I even forgot my sponsor. So, because I was going to say, like, so let's get to that for a second, and then
absolutely.
and then we'll. So the sponsor is Energy Pal, actually. And they are, if you're shopping for your home solar system, it's really the best place online to shop, review and compare quotes. So they do all of the hard work for you, which I'm all for, and you get to save. You'll get the best rates, and once your installation is complete, get this: you'll get an exclusive E4 Electric viewer discount, which is really a gift card that they give you at the end of all of this, which is, I think it's pretty cool. At the end of the day, you can shop for $500, whatever you want. And the description, the link that you need to use to get that is in the description of this video. I went way over the actual video, but anyway. So yeah, no, these people are awesome that are watching me and hanging out with me. Adias 2013 says, "Aw,
That's
see,
so nice.
it is
What a
nice."
great group of people here. And
Yeah,
that's what the community is about, right?
yeah, I agree. But though you should see what my comment section looks like. As a matter of fact, on my Sunday videos, I actually have this grumpy comment of the week where I try to pick like the grumpiest or the most
Yeah, you
insulting
told me
thing,
about that.
and lately I've been having trouble finding insulting comments. I used to just draw all these people. Maybe Warren needs to make another video about me, because that week I got plenty of insulting comments. But yeah. And Butch Nelson here says, I never noticed the battery until now. Yeah, I can't see. This is bad when you do something that you have to explain it. Just like when people ask me what's the name of a channel, I'm like, E for Electric. I'm like, with a four. I'm like,
That's what they told me too. I refer people to you like, well, is it with the four? I'm like, no, it's F4. So yeah, I
right.
get
M for Mary, R for Roger, and E for Electric. Oh,
it.
we're not. Okay. Anyway, yeah. So here's a question from Efrain Torres. He says, "Bro,
GQ over here.
huh?
You're GQ. That's why he said, do you shop at Express?
You
Because the
should
way you dress. Every time I see you, you're always like really nice, well pressed.
I think people don't realize when you start your own business, you don't shop at Express. I shop at Ross, and and not just at Ross. Like if I see a shirt, like that's a lot of my shirts come from either Ross or Amazon, by the way. And I'll come up and I'll be like, "Wow, this shirt was $60. It's now 19. Is there additional discount? Oh, there is one. I'll take one." Like it's yeah, yeah. So it's yeah, people don't always realize that, like, this is a small business, right? And if it's, look, what you make, you still have to pay your people, right? Yeah, I have editors, I have a researcher, I have all of that stuff. You have to, like, this software that I'm using to do this live stream, it's not free. You have to pay them. So yeah, no, Express not yet, but whenever stuff leaves Express and makes it to Ross, I'm on it. So I appreciate I appreciate it.
Can I
Okay,
ask?
all right. Hold on a second. Someone's calling me out a little bit here. Philip says, Alex, you must be nice to own two houses. There's your grumpy comment. My two houses come from my previous job that I had in Silicon Valley, was I was getting paid well, and yeah, that's where the houses come from. But it's true. I live in Sacramento. I have a second house in Vegas. I'm flying there on Wednesday, actually. But sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna make a comment actually ask you the same thing. Michael BZ, you're disappointed about the canoe. Were you? I mean, I actually liked it. That's the one that opened like this, right? And had kind of like a sofa inside. Was it that one?
Yeah, so let me read the comment. Michael says, "What was your disappointment with Canoe at the auto show? You mentioned it in passing on your video the other day." Yeah, so there are a few things that I've already had with Canoe. A lot of times when a company comes out, when a brand new company comes out, they try to reach out to the community, and the way to reach out to this community is through me and Tom, and now other people who are part of this community. Maybe not now, but you know what I mean. Other people in the community that are influencers and journalists, and to kind of present themselves to the community. Well, Canoe hasn't done that. As a matter of fact, every time I reached out to Canoe, they've acted, and I know other journalists feel the same. They've acted like they once again own the world, like they're number one automaker, and it's quite unpleasant to deal with them. On top of that, I don't see them releasing the technology and the description of the technology that they're using why all of a sudden they're going to just start making these cars and they're going to be great. I don't hear much about their factories, how it's going to be made. None of the stuff that matters, right? All I get is attitude. And even at the LA Auto Show, when I came up, I think I came up to their booth twice. And twice I was kind of told, kind of like, we're hanging out here, dude, And these are media days. This is where they're supposed to be wanting the attention. I also think the design is way too retro. I mean, it looks like one of those little toys that you get in chocolate eggs for kids. There is some appeal, and they are coming up with a pickup truck, but I feel every time I saw a brand that was too cocky for what they got, like Lordstown Motors or others, and I feel it as my interaction personally, red flags pop up, right? So, and I'm already not feeling their design or their tech because I don't know much about it because they didn't tell us. That's why. I hope they prove me wrong. Like I said, I will root for every single manufacturer, no matter how big of douchebags they are. I want them on the market. I'm not getting that warm feeling from Canoe over the last 2 or 3 years, so that's why. But did you get to check it out, and like, what's your feeling about it?
Well, I mean, I didn't. I just briefly, I just passed by and I saw it. There was a lot of people around it. I felt like that one got a lot more attention than other cars. When I was passing by, there was a huge crowd, and I think because it just looks different. And like you said, it's very retro. Like the whole couch inside, I think it's kind of cool. But I'm wondering if it's safe. The way it's built, like because I mean, you can put your seatbelts, but if you get hit in the back, you're going to be like this versus this way. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I just to me, it looks kind of cool, but I don't really know if it would be a safe car. That's not.
Exactly, and this is what I would want them to address, right? Like this is a concern. That's a legitimate question. It would be nice if we could ask them and they would give us an answer. But I don't see them interacting with the media as much. Um, Really quick, Scott says, I have a friend. They don't see the battery, but they
Oh, you
love
got to
you.
show the battery, Alex.
Can you help show them the battery, please? Okay, so I have to get rid of this
Maybe
on
your
the.
camera has to be a little lower.
Okay, so all right,
Oh,
so
there you go.
here's a battery. Here's a tab. See, so here's a battery. Hopefully that helps. Um,
You know what, Brian? I actually with Brian Finwick, I actually agree with because I was gonna say that the retro is cool, is good, and it does remind me of the VW Bug or the what is it called, the little bus VW bus thing.
yeah, no,
It is kind of
it,
cool.
it's got its appeal. It's just a little too toy-like. But again, I don't want to. I don't. I mean, different strokes for different folks. I'm sure there will be people who will love it, but you have to try a little bit harder to make your case if you're a brand new manufacturer. So that's all I'm
Yeah.
saying. Um, Pedro asks me in Russian, is asking me if I have plans for Christmas. Uh, Now, I'm a Jewish atheist, so Chris, and on top of that, I don't even celebrate my own birthday. So I don't celebrate other people. Well, I guess if I get invited on someone's birthday, but I don't think Jesus is inviting me to his. I think I did not get the invitation, but I mean, I will still hang out with friends and family who do celebrate. I have plenty of religious friends, and they invite me over, and we'll do a little Christmas dinner. And I never refused a Christmas gift either, by the way. But I'll tell you what I do celebrate on December 25th. It's my family coming to the U.S. We came here on December 25th. I couldn't understand why people celebrating New Year's a week early. But the really cool thing happened to me when I came to America on a December 26th, because my dad had a contract to work for a company that had a contract with Apple. Really working here. Yeah, yeah. Okay, it's better now. And so I went to Apple's executive party or whatever, a Christmas party, and Steve Jobs was there apparently. My parents told me. I don't remember him, but
Wow.
yeah, apparently I met Steve Jobs. I could have changed the world. Let's see.
I have very interesting. Somebody brought up, who was it? Oh, Philip Macy, Lucid. We haven't talked anything about Lucid. Oh my gosh. The one thing that, let me just say this really quick. The only reason why I knew about Lucid is when I heard the Lucid beat the Tesla Model S performance on the track. That's when I heard about Lucid. Other than that, I never even heard about Lucid. This was, I think it was last year or sometime. And then ever since that, Lucid, 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 like all over the place. Like, what is your opinion on the Lucid?
So I started covering them back in the day when they were at the Monterey Car Show. I think it was 3 or 4 years ago. That's one of my on location coverages was for Lucid. And they ran out of funding and it kind of was dying. But then Peter Rollison, who was their CTO, who previously people credit him for bringing Model S to market. Actually, apparently Model S wasn't in a good shape enough, and then Elon brought Peter, which Elon now is denying for some reason. He was the chief engineer, and he brought a Model S to market. Brilliant engineer, and he became the CEO of Lucid Motors. They got $1 billion in funding, not from the best of sources, especially as a journalist. It came from Saudi Saudi Arabia's national fund, right? So, but it's good to see. I'd rather have them invest into an electric car company than into more oil, exploration. So that's fine. And and then they kind of, went into this let's do some work mode, and they emphasize efficiency. And now, they finally started deliveries to regular customers, not their employees, and they have the longest range now. And Tom Malogny of Inside EVs and Forbes, regular contributor to this channel, has confirmed that they also have the fastest charging of anyone in the industry. I'm not crazy how their PR is handling things lately as well, but what people are talking about here is the
The
you
battery
know
scandal?
huh
Philip was saying about the battery scandal. That's his question. You
yeah.
hear about that?
So here's the scandal. So there's this guy Warren Reddick, whatever his last name is. Probably the biggest Tesla fanboy, even more than now. And essentially, he will say anything. And he's a huge Tesla investor. He'll say anything to praise Tesla and throw mud at anything around it. So in July, he actually released a video about me because I said that Tesla is losing in terms of Tesla is no longer number one in the super the power that comes from superchargers, because Electrify America and Ionity and Fastnet and in Europe can do 350 kilowatt output, and Tesla I think does 300 kilowatt. And that did not sit well with him, even though it's kind of math and I'm just a messenger. He also went after me, called me an idiot and a lot of stuff. As a response to that, I asked him to do a debate, and we did live on his channel. Now, if you like facts, he's wrong, wrong, wrong. If you don't like facts, then you may have a different opinion. Now, recently, Tom Malogny got a hold of the Lucid Air and confirmed that it is the fastest charging vehicle on the market right now. Now, what was in that video is the total amount of kilowatts that the station has dispersed, which I think was 134. And Lucid claims that their battery is 118. Now, Warren, once again, not knowing much about much, basically said, see, that battery is much bigger because there is no way there's a 15% or 13% loss from what the station discharges to what the car takes. Tesla's at 99. So Tom, I personally would not respond to Warren on my social media, but fine. So Tom did what a good journalist does. He basically said, "Well, Warren, let me educate you. First of all, there are a lot of energy being taken from the current that's trying to charge your car. One is you have to cool down the battery and the cable. So there are, cooling solution there and fans that have to cool it down. That takes, a few percentage, just that itself. And there are other parts of the entire environment that need that electricity to be able to have that electricity get into your battery very quickly. So he pointed that out. And then he also pointed out that when you're charging a Tesla, you only see what the Tesla gets on the screen, because the superchargers don't have a screen of their own where they tell you how much energy it actually spent on it, right? So there is no way to tell. He also referred to some Car and Driver magazine article that also didn't know as much as they should have. So they said something that wasn't true. So basically, Tom wiped the floor with him. Him and his audience wouldn't think that, but if you're a fan of facts, then that's what really happened. So uh, that's it's unfortunate that he even has a following. And by the way, his followers are brutal. Like they'll go after you and will call you names. And again, since fact is not a thing there, they'll just throw mud at you, and that's it. That's all they do. Um, it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. That's why I
Yeah.
like you. That's why I like you, because you are. I think you're a bigger fan of Tesla than Warren, and yet you are also a big electric car fan and a fan of facts. Like you just said, customer service not their best thing, and it is
Yeah.
what it is. I mean, hopefully they'll get better someday.
Well, that's the
That's
thing. Like that's what I like. That's what I like about you too. You're very transparent. You keep it real. Yes, I drive a Tesla. Yes, I'm a fan of Tesla. I'm a fan of Elon Musk, SpaceX, all that, Boring Company, all that stuff, right? But I'm not in denial. If there's something that needs to be improved, then I'm going to say it. Just like you, Alex. I'm sure you get a lot of pushback when people are like, oh, why are you talking bad about this? Why are you talking bad about that? You're not going to sit here and just be like, oh, I love this and this and this and this. Nothing's wrong. Everything's perfect. We're not in a perfect world. There's some things that need to be worked on. And, I mean, if they can hear my voice and, me telling and expressing my feelings, and I hope they can take it in and not get offended. I mean, that's what we're here for. We are trying to spread the word. We're trying to let people know and be aware of what things that are going on, and that's what I like about you, Alex, because again, you keep it real. You're not going to sugarcoat it, if you tell it like it is. And that's what it's about. I mean, if you're going to be on TV, if you're going to have your podcast or YouTube, you can't I just can't stand people that paint everything so pretty and then they're not telling you the facts, and then later on they hear the facts and then it's like, well, why are you saying this when it's not really what it is, and yeah, you're going to get pushback. You might even lose followers, because they think that you're a fan of a specific kind of car or model, and then all of a sudden, well, this is what it lacks. And they're like, okay, I'm not following you anymore because you said something bad about this brand. No, it's not like that. You want to hear the truth, then you have to have thick skin and you have to be open-minded about these things, and that's why and I'm sure all your viewers, all your fans think of the same thing. That's why they appreciate you, because you're going to tell them the truth, and they might not want to hear it, they might not like what you say, but when you say the truth and then when they drive it, like, oh, Alex was right about this, I'm so glad I picked this car instead of that car because he told me I should get this one because of these are the qualities that this is what the car is going to bring versus the other car, and that's what they want from you. They want to hear the truth. And and that's I'm saying the same thing. I'm a Tesla owner, but I like other cars too. I'm an electric fanatic. I like electric cars. That's so Tesla just happens to be the first ones that we got. And now that we went to the LA Auto Show, I have my eye on two other cars, and who knows what the future brings in 2023.
Yeah, and to that point is that I always tell Tesla fans that criticism of Tesla and the existence of a good competition is only going to make your cars better, because Tesla, they're part of this capitalist system. If you have competition and if you have critics, you're only going to get better at your product and service, and that's going to benefit the Tesla community. I don't really understand why that's not an acceptable point of view, but it is what it is. Um, let's move on. There was something else that somebody kind of. Okay, so this is what I want to talk about. So Brian says, I'm skeptical too, maybe not as skeptical as Warren, though. See, Warren is not skeptical. Skeptics look at the facts, do some research, look at the history, and they might say, well, there's not enough information. Warren has already decided he doesn't like Lucid. Remember, in my debate with him, Lawrence said that he doesn't believe that Lucid exists. He believes these are Tesla cars that Lucid put their shells on it, and they're lying to us. Now, all of a sudden, he forgot about that ridiculous conspiracy theory that he supported, because now there are actual customers driving actual Lucid cars, and there's an EPA rating, and you can't get an EPA rating unless you have a real product, right? So, like, he says this kind of stuff all over the place, and somehow we all forget that he said it. That statement alone should basically, if you're following him and you see that he says something ridiculous like that, and it was proven wrong, you should go like, oh, I'm out of here, this guy's crazy, right? But people don't do that. So he wasn't skeptical, Brian. He was just flat out, I don't know even what the word for it, I think he had one for me, so I don't know. But you continue saying Lucid is supposed to be so efficient at the 900 plus volt architecture is also supposed to be more efficient. 134 is a little high even with losses. No, it's not. Read Tom's article. He literally breaks down for skeptics like you, Brian, which um, which process, like for example, the process of cooling takes 3 or 4%. And there, he lists all the processes that you need to get the electricity that fast into a battery to be happening at the same time. And they're all taking the actual energy that they need to function. And he puts them all together. As a matter of fact, Tesla comes up to about 15%. And Tesla actually comes up to a little bit more than Lucid based on what people have done with it. So no, it's actually 10 or 15% of electricity spent to jam that electricity that fast into a battery. That sounds very reasonable, actually. So I don't think you should be skeptical. This is just physics, and it does make sense. Um, Somebody says, Melody of 1974 says, "You're lying." Mean comment of the week? No, you have to do a better job insulting me than that and be more creative to make a mean comment of the week. But I appreciate the try. Sometimes I do think people say something just so they can make it into the grumpy comment of the week. But all right, that's
I
fine.
love that you're so animated. I think, yeah, like you said, they do it on purpose because they want to see you react. And
Yeah,
I was like, oh my God, what are we going to say about this?
yeah. So, all right. Well, listen. We've gone for like an hour and a half,
What?
which is I
Wow,
know.
the time
See,
flies.
yes, time flies. Listen, why don't you tell us about your Saturday event again? Because if people are anywhere near Southern California, I really strongly recommend not only attending event but meeting Marty and her husband and their core group, which are really really awesome people. So tell us a little bit about it, when and where.
So the event is a toy drive, and we partnered up with LASD Motorsports, and they're a nonprofit, and it's a community where they help children, get off drugs, gangs, just the streets, and they go to the track and they just race out. So what they're doing is like they're saying, hey, you know what? I know you want to race on because it's illegal, right? So just why don't you bring your cars to the track and you can just race it there? So they're doing a lot for the community, and I partnered up with them, and we're going to give all the toys to them, and they're going to deliver it to shelters in Los Angeles. So this toy drive is going to be located in the city of Cerritos. I'm sorry, Norwalk. It's the Cerritos College Stadium parking lot. It's December 4th. It's 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. And we're going to have a lot of vendors. We're going to have games. We're going to have prizes. We have over $1,400 worth of gift cards to give away, and they're from Amazon, Target, restaurants, like all kinds of good stuff. And we're giving away 30 plush toys or stuffed animals for the first 30 pets that come in. Bring your pets with you, and we'll give them a stuffed animal. We also have a mobile arcade for, I want to say children, but also the adults, because they can fit up to, I believe, 15 or 18 adults in the mobile arcade.
And pets with their
Yeah, it's gonna be
stuffed
a lot of
toys.
fun. And we're gonna have ugly sweater contest, frunk uh, contest, most spirited, who's dressed the most spirited. So it's gonna be a lot of fun, and it's free. All you have to do is bring a unwrapped toy from 5 years and up. Average about $10 for the toy, and we'll give you a raffle ticket, and you can join in the free raffle with all kinds of cool prizes. And we're going to give away an electric bike. And this is not just any electric bike, it's actually a foldable electric bike that fits in your Tesla.
Nice.
So it's a
Wow.
win-win. You can take it with you.
Ah,
And we're going to give away trees. I forgot to mention this earlier. LASD Motorsports partnered up with Home Depot, and we're going to get several trees to just give away. So a lot of cool stuff.
and I put the link in the chat to your Facebook page. I think everybody should follow you, at least even if they're not in South Cal. It's just there's so whenever I see the pictures and videos from your events, it's like warms my heart. You've created such an amazing community. I love it. So I love just following you, even though I don't get to attend events because I'm like on the opposite side of the state. But everybody should. So I put that link in the chat, and it's right here on the screen. And let me do my quick shout out as well for my sponsors, which I already delayed once, unfortunately. But it is the Energy Pal. If you're shopping for your home solar system, it's the best place online to shop and compare quotes. They do all the hard work for you and you get to save. You'll get the best rates, and once your installation is complete, you'll get an E4 Electric Viewer exclusive $500 gift card when you use the link in the description of this video. And that's the form that you got to fill out, and boom, that's pretty much it. Oh, we just got another super chat.
Really quick,
Yes.
Alex, Brian Fenwick. Wait, I'm sorry, not Philip. Sorry, Philip said, I just missed it. Hold on. I don't know. I'm sorry. Chris Bates. Chris Bates. Thank you. He just made a nice comment about I'm great for the community. I just have to tell you really quickly, it wasn't easy, especially being a female. I got a lot of pushback. I was bullied the first year. This is my third year, and I was bullied, and I was told so many things, even by women, like stay in your lane. You know, you're a girl. Leave the cars to the guys. Like, do you even own a Tesla? Who are you? Like, what are you doing? We're gonna call Tesla on you. And it's just the list goes on and on, you know. And the first year I was very challenging for me, and because I have the heart, I have the passion, you know, I'm going to do this for the community, and I did it, you know. And now, you know, we have over 30,000 followers on Facebook and over 20 on Instagram. You know, I'm very proud, and I love the community. Every event is amazing. Everyone's so nice and friendly. If it's your first time, you feel welcomed right away. You know, if I see a new face, I always, you know, either shake their hand or I hug them. Some people don't like, they want to keep a distance, which is fine, you know, and that's what we're about. You know, it's just a wonderful community. There was a gentleman, I forgot his name, but he said something about, if I wasn't married, me and you would make a good couple.
I was going to ignore that one. But here it is. Yeah, Bush Nelson says, if she was not married, you two would make a good couple. Opposite of Grump. So I guess opposite of Grumpy Comment. That's what it is. Yeah, you know, every time I got to tell you, every time I have like a female co-host or whatever, or a guest, people always make that comment. It's like, okay, you know. Well, Marty is happily married to an awesome dude who I met many times as well, and he's just as awesome, a leader of the community. And as a matter of fact, I think, you know, his support is very much appreciated as well. I mean, he does a lot, as you know. I see him every time there. You guys are just like a team, not even just like, you know, husband and wife. You're like a team when you're there, and it's great to hang out with you. And if you guys get to meet Marty, absolutely meet her husband Will for sure. He's also, every time I talk to him, I look, you know, I look like a child. And he's humongous dude. That's like, what is he, 6'4"?
Yeah, 6'4".
There you go. He's 6'4". I'm 5'8". So every time I talk to him, it's like I get a neck pain and stuff like that. But he is awesome. All right, now we got to get to a quick super chat from Nate that just upped his game, and $20. That's like two Chipotle meals, Marty. He says, I'm a fan of history. One car from history was Dobel, and he actually let me know how to spell it later in the comments. The car was arguably amazing, but the inventor was a perfectionist who didn't let enough cars be built or reviewed. Perhaps Rivian is similar. So, you know, in a YouTuber community, we say this: perfection is the enemy of progress, because a lot of YouTubers fail because they want to produce a perfect video. My whatever 1,500 videos that I've released, none of them are even average. So, and I still release them because I think it's better than not releasing them, and I always let the audience judge. So absolutely agree with that. I don't think Rivian is similar to this, honestly, Nate. I think Rivian's problem is more of their PR department and some of the transparency that they need to. You know, they're obviously trying to make the best car possible, but it could be different. But you're right. If anything, we'll agree that perfection, you know, the perfectionists are tough to do business with. So I agree with that. All right. So I think so. Any closing remarks, Marty, before we?
Well, I did want to say, Philip Macy, thank you. That was a very nice comment that you made. Awesome to hear that you're making a positive impact. Um, I'm trying. I'm still trying, you know. And
Which comment
like
did you
I said,
Sorry.
What was that?
Who was this from?
This is from Philip Macy.
There you go. Okay, got it.
And like I said, it was really rough. And there was times where I said, maybe I'm just not cut out for this because Alex knows I don't like being in front of the camera. I don't like to be interviewed. Like I'm not. I like to be behind the scenes and creating these really cool events and bringing the like-minded people together for cool events and meetups and talk Tesla. That's what it's about, right? To have a good time and bringing the new members, new owners that don't know really much about the cars, and they talk to veterans that own since 2015 or 2012, and they kind of go over the car and share their road trip experiences and stuff. It's such a fun environment and positive environment as well. But again, there was somebody that mentioned, I forgot the name, that the car community can be toxic. I agree, but I feel like the electric car owners are a little bit different because I was raised, in the reason why I'm into cars because I was in a car club very young, and I kind of knew the ins and outs and how the community works and how they help each other out and stuff like that. So I decided, why don't I do this for the electric car? Now that I love this car so much, and it's a different crowd, and they're so sweet and so nice. But the people that are outside, that are not electric car owners, they can be bullies and they can be mean, and it's just like you said, it can be toxic. But I'm glad that I kind of made my way in where they feel like, okay, she's done so many events, she's brought everybody together. I have enough experience that people can respect me a little bit more. So I'm enjoying every single day and the community, and hopefully you guys can make it out, next this Saturday, and I can introduce you to a lot of the owners. And again, you don't have to be a Tesla owner, electric car, or you could ice car. Everyone is welcome. This is for a good cause. Like I said, these toys are going to go to shelters in Los Angeles. So that's what we want to do, is help the community in any way we can. And I don't know if you noticed or if you know, Alex, just last year we got an award from the Senate because all the things that we did for our frontline workers. We just every single month we went to different hospitals, police stations, and even fire departments, and we just went to Costco and bought all kinds of prepackaged food and sodas and waters and teas and all that, and we just delivered them to the hospitals and the fire departments and police stations. And that's what we want to do. We want to give back, and I'm so happy to be a part of this community.
No, same here, and keep up the good work. I can't wait to attend one of your events again. I mean, I know we hung out at the high voltage event, but I definitely, and I've been trying to be. There's not much of a community here in Sacramento, but when I'm in Vegas, there's a big Tesla community. I've already attended, a couple of their events. So it's great. I love being part of it. So all right, listen, I know, yeah, I pressured you for weeks to come up and do this with me. I'm glad you did. Hopefully, we can do it again. And once again, I put the link in the chat so everybody can join your Facebook page. And I hope we do this again soon.
And you know what, guys? I promise you, next time I will have my earpieces so you won't have to hear the static. And I apologize. And thanks for being patient with us. This is my
Don't
first
worry about it.
time. So hopefully, if Alex invites me again, I'll be prepared and we'll have a better show.
I'm inviting you again already. All right, cool. Listen, have a great the rest of your week, and I hope we'll chat soon.
Guys, have a good day.
All right. All right, guys, before we go, I have another request, which, by the way, half of you will absolutely hate, but I'm just going to go ahead and, honor it. And it comes from Brian. He says, Alex, can we get an E4 Electric jingle before you go? Now, I'm not going to sing it, but, we can still go over this. So here we go. So, by the way, there's actually a longer thing. If you ever watch my videos to the end, when I say, stay charged, it plays the entire thing that and I kind of co-wrote it with somebody I hired, a really talented artist that I hired. And, I like this type of music, honestly. It's like, like early 90s music, right? So I thought it was great. I know half people love it, half the people hate it. You can't please everybody, just like with Ionic 5, right? But I appreciate it. So there you go. Listen, guys, I've had such a great time once again hanging out with you guys, mainly because Marty was here, but you guys were great too. But I hope she join us again. Please follow her because seriously, I'm not just saying it. This is my experience. I've known her now for several years, and she's been great for the community. I actually can't believe that she's gotten all this negative pushback. I mean, if anything, I think people should appreciate women in this community because again, their point of view is so much more practical. But it's a shame, and I'm glad she made it all the way here. I always encourage her to be the front and center of the community, and I think I hope one day she does that. One more super chat from Brian. Thank you so much. This is pounds. I forgot you guys are no longer euros. This is Great Britain pounds. Have a side on me. I will order guac then today, despite what my scale told me after the Thanksgiving dinners and stuff. So I appreciate that. All right, guys, listen, I really enjoyed talking to you guys and hanging out with Marty. Don't forget, we're gonna do this again. I think it might just be Monday again and not Tuesday because I'm traveling a lot and I'm having a lot of like Tuesday somehow afternoon appointments and stuff like that. So like the reason we're doing it today instead of Tuesdays because I have to go back to San Francisco. That's where I got my hair transplants. So it's been pretty much a year. I got it on January 6th. So, I don't know what else happened on that day. I can't think of it, but and so we're gonna see how it went. I mean, I like it. So, all right. Well, once again, thank you to all of the super chatters and all of the premium members that are here and all the regular members that are here. Looking forward to all of your comments. And other than that, see you guys later. And of course, remember to stay charged.